It's sad, really. See, there was a child molester at a local store that I visited, right? And you know what I did? Just like what the yuji itadori cosplayer would have done. Gave belt to ass to that child molester. I'd rather do no research. I'm not a document type of guy. I don't do expose videos. I rather give belt to ass because I rather save children, not murder them. And that's the problem. See, when these predator catchers, when they see somebody doing their job, they get triggered and they call them out a son of a bitch. All because that's not how their version of being a vigilante works. See, why is it that the Yuji Itadori cosplayer rather gives belt to ass to that child molester at an anime convention? Why is that? Oh, that's right, because he cares. But why does he care? Because he gives a fuck about the people, not the country itself. And that's exactly why I support the Yuji Itadori cosplayer. And yet, the Yuji Itadori cosplayer gets arrested, while the predator gets compensation and fucking rewards. And that's the problem with this country. See, 77 million people would rather sit behind their silence and watch as Donald Trump rapes Eugene Carroll, a 13-year-old, by the way, who Donald Trump is being sued for, by the way. They rather sit behind their cameras, yappity yappity yap all day, but yet they get mad when a Yuji Itadori cosplayer does their job of vigilante. That's the problem. Y'all want the Yuji Itadori cosplayer to be a predator catcher, not a predator poacher. See, there's a difference. A predator poacher, what is it known for? Poaching animals, right? What are predators? Again, animals. So what do predator poachers, aka hunters, do? They grab their rifles, and what's next? They shoot them down. But see, they don't want to do that because they don't want to resolve the country. They don't want to lower the cases of rape in their country. They don't want to do that. But me and the Yuji Itadori cosplayer, we would rather do that because we'd rather get our hands dirty and beat the ever-living shit out of these predators than rather sit behind a camera and talk about some legal document shit. And that's why we are here as a country. Because 77 million people would rather overlook rape, overlook tax fraud, and overlook all these other things that Donald Trump has done instead of storm the White House and beat the ever-living shit out of Donald Trump live on camera. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here. And if you don't like it, you can find a Mayflower and ship your ass right back to England, because that's where you belong. Mind you, this country has never been great for anybody. Ask a random black person, ask a random Muslim. Has this country been great? No, it hasn't. So again, I'd rather be like the Yuji Itadori cosplayer because I actually give a fuck. See, they're just mad because that Yuji Itadori cosplayer was doing their job. Oh no, he's beating up this child molester. Oh no, he's a son of a bitch. That's just a bridge too far. But it's not. It's actually doing something than rather proclaiming something. That Yuji Itadori cosplayer declared that he was a predator poacher and went in and beat the ever-living shit out of that fucking child molester. But guess what? He got arrested all because of public nuisance and assault. Mind you, that's the law in Singapore, by the way, in case you didn't know. So the child molester gets minimal charges and fucking compensation, while the predator poacher gets arrested for assault and public nuisance. See, me, I would have done the same thing the Yuji Itadori cosplayer would have done. Give belt to ass to these pedophiles. And I said in my post, why are there more people doing this than rather sitting behind a camera? And you know what happened? They got triggered. Oh, that Yuji Itadori cosplayer is a son of a bitch. Ooh, I don't like what he's doing. Ooh, that's just a bridge too far. Ooh, that's assault. Ooh, that's public nuisance. Ooh. They're scared because of a white minority. And that's the issue. They are scared of a white minority doing their own job for them, instead of actually doing it their damn selves. Mind you, the governor, the chairman, the fucking president of Thailand can't even control this shit. So guess what happens? The Yuji Itadori cosplayer takes it to his own hands and beats the ever-living shit out of that child molester. And that's why I call him a predator poacher, not a predator catcher. Because he didn't do no decoys. He didn't do no fake accounts. He didn't do all that shit. He actually gave a fuck and actually went in and started beating the shit out of him because he did not care what would have happened to him. That's why we're here. And I've seen it all around YouTube. People exposing it, but not doing it. Right? It's just like David Kaepernick. He took a knee and everyone called him out as a fucking bitch, all because he did his First Amendment rights, which was to peacefully protest. Y'all would rather be like David Chauvin and receive a fucking standing ovation. Yeah, David Chauvin! While he puts his fucking knee on a black person's neck. 3 to 5 officers watched it happen, and not a single damn word from any of them. ICE shot Alex Preddy, yet not a single damn word from any of you, not on your pages. Because why? Because you don't care. You don't care. You don't love your neighbors as yourself. You love only yourself. And you are complicit in your silence. We will not remember the voices of our friends, but rather listen to the voices of our enemies. So whoever that was, the guy that was like trolling and whatnot, much power to you, no shame to you. But you got triggered the moment I posted about a Yuji Itadori cosplayer doing your job that you could have started. You got mad all because of a Yuji Itadori cosplayer beating the ever-living shit out of a fucking pedophile. What? Is it irrefutable fact? You got triggered because you saw that a Yuji Itadori cosplayer is more of a Christian and it's more of a hero than you would ever be. You would rather sit behind in your silence, do your little research, while a Yuji Itadori cosplayer is doing your work as a vigilante. That's why we're here. That's why we are here as a country. Because 77 million people care more about their guns than rather of other people. The person that was on my live stream, he got triggered all because I posted what I said about the Yuji Itadori cosplayer. He got triggered. Like, did I mention him? No. Did I say anything about him on my page? No. Like, look at my posts. There's nothing about him on my page. But yet, when the Yuji Itadori cosplayer, when I talk about him and what he does, oh, that's not how vigilantes work. Oh, I'm triggered. Oh, no. Because you're scared of an actual minority. You're scared of a minority doing your job that you failed to start. Because he would rather be a predator poacher, not a predator catcher. Just like in that one video with EDP 445, I am disgusted because there was no beatdowns. There was none. None of it. All they did was they had their little documents here and there, and their little screenshots and their little decoys, and they go to fucking EDP 445 and they have a 24-hour conversation. Does anyone want to sit by and watch a fucking 24-hour conversation of a fucking pedophile talking with two people? No. They would rather watch a pedophile getting beat up than rather having a 24-hour conversation like a fucking conversation at Starbucks. And that's why he left. Because he knew that I was right. These predator poachers nowadays, they rather get their hands dirty than sit behind a camera and actually fucking do something. Because they didn't like how a vigilante works. See, the reason why I praise that Yuji Itadori cosplayer as a true hero is because he doesn't need to do research on the guy. He doesn't need to know who he is. He had no hesitation behind his words. He had no issue. He had no documents, no nothing. Just a literal beatdown over and over and over. But yet, Katie Bikita and Sped Noodles and everyone else that claims to be predator catchers, they'd just rather sit behind their cameras and they rather do it the legal way because, they rather be slow and retarded in their research. That's why we're here. See, again, like I said, I literally saw a predator at a local store that I was at. And I did exactly as the Yuji Itadori cosplayer did. I beat his ass almost to where he was unconscious. I beat his ass to where he was almost unconscious. And I said to the guy, maybe next time, just know, people like you deserve the guillotine. And that literally correlates to Mark chapter 9, verse 42. For whosoever defiles these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him if a great millstone were hung about their necks and was casted into the sea. Let me give you the context on what that means. For whosoever rapes my children, their body shall be detached from their heads, and their head was thrown in the ocean. Do you know what that means? That means Jesus Christ has detest and hate for pedophiles. That he would rather see them chopped up in the guillotine than rather hanged in a public museum. And it's sad that the person that was on my stream, he was all there just talking his way in, he's trying to rage bait me, but I kept my composure because I was like, okay, like, you're just trying to dehumanize me. And then he says that I'm retarded all because I'm talking about politics. Like, when did we go from talking about when did we go from all that to fucking pedos can't be politics? I was just talking about white supremacy and the reason why we're here. That's all I was doing. Did I say anything to trigger him or something? Like, did I say anything? No. Did I mention him? No. Like, I don't even know him personally. I don't even know his real name. I don't even know his address. I don't even know any of that shit. Because why would I want to know? Why would I want to know? It's stupid. And as soon as he saw the post of the Yuji Itadori cosplayer beating the ever living shit out of that pedophile, he got mad and left because that wasn't his version of how to be a vigilante. That wasn't his version on how to be a proper vigilante. He didn't like what he saw, so he went back to what he knew. It's literally the reason why we're here. People would rather sit behind their cameras and continue to yap, yap, yap all day than rather do something about it. It's sad. It's sad. It is de-humblingly sad. It's de-humblingly sad. Like, when is it that y'all are gonna wake up and actually declare something instead of proclaiming something? That Yuji Itadori cosplayer literally said, I'm gonna declare that I'm a predator poacher. And he immediately does it. He declared that he was a predator poacher, that he would go out of his way to beat his ass, to beat the child molester's ass, and did it instead of actually proclaiming that he was. You see, the Candace Owens, the Joe Rogans, like all of Trump's MAGA supporters are leaving him because they now woke up to what Trump actually is. They now woke up after how many years? Oh, I don't know. 2016, 2020, 2024. They've ignored it. But now they have the decency to care. Now Candace Owens has the decency to care. Now not Manab Aubrey. Fucking Joe Rogan now wakes up. Just because a Yuji Itadori cosplayer is literally doing the work of these so-called predator catchers, they get triggered and they call him out as a son of a bitch because that's not how their version of being a vigilante works. That's all this is. They are scared of a minority beating up a child molester. They are scared of that. So they rather call him out as a son of a bitch, but when a predator catcher does legal documents and does his little research and does his little decoys, that's the hero of the internet, right? That's the hero of the internet. But when a Yuji Itadori cosplayer doesn't do research, he's a son of a bitch, right? It's just like what happened with David Kaepernick. When he took a knee and peacefully protested, people called him out as a son of a bitch. All because he couldn't side with the MAGA libtards. All because he couldn't side with the MAGA libtards. They call him out. Wild, right? Crazy. It's just like what happened. I'm talking about politics, white supremacy, and the reason why we're here, and why the Yuji Itadori cosplayer is being praised as a hero, and yet people are calling me a son of a bitch all because I'm praising him for what he's done. This is a literal cycle of David Kaepernick. It is a literal cycle, and it has been that way since 1619. Evil succeeds when good people do nothing. All of these predator catchers, freaking Kitty Paquita, nothing about Renee Good or Alex Preddy or her condolences to the people that were killed by ICE or dragged in the snow by ICE. No condolences whatsoever. No politics in their Discord servers, by the way. No Discord servers related to politics, by the way, or about Alex Preddy, by the way, or Renee Good, by the way, because they don't want to get their fan base upset. But when David Kaepernick, or when a Yuji Itadori cosplayer does their job, that's when they get triggered because they're scared of a minority doing their job for them. That's why we are here. They don't want to do what the Yuji Itadori cosplayer does. Give belt to ass to these pedophiles because they deserve the guillotine. And it's a irrefutable fact. And it's going to stay as an irrefutable fact. We will not listen to the voices of our friends, but rather listen to the voices of our enemies. What happened when Martin Luther King Jr. was put on solitary confinement, all because he wanted to be as close to a white man? All because he wanted to be as close to a white man, he gets put in solitary confinement. Just like what happened with the Yuji Itadori cosplayer. Just because he cared about the people, not about the country, he gets a... What? My apologies, everybody, but just because a Yuji Itadori cosplayer is doing your job that you failed to even do, you get mad and call him out as a son of a bitch because you are scared of a minority doing your job. Because you're not sure that is how a vigilante works. It is just like the cycle with Charlie Kirk. Oh, the roaming blacks are taking the whites' jobs. Oh, what about Justice Jackson? I don't know if she's affirmative action hire. Oh, if the pilot's black, is he qualified? The racist podcaster in the White House and the racist podcaster who supported Donald Trump literally said that the cost of the Second Amendment is for dead Americans. This is why. The reason why my views don't get out as much is because I actually give a fuck. Because I am not a citizen of the Fuhrer. Now, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of Bella Ciao just in case. Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, 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 la Satria, Bella Ciao, Lese Vasa e Moto, la Satria, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, 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 la Satria, Bella Ciao, Lese Vasa di morir. The reason why I do this is because I actually give a fuck. I posted about Renee Good in my live streams. I posted about Alex Preddy in my live streams. I even mentioned them because I said their names. What have you done? What have you done? Wasted your daily time trolling on people's live streams? You've never mentioned Alex Preddy in your streams. You never mentioned Renee Good in your streams. And you're sitting there saying pedos can't be in politics? And yet I'm just here talking about white supremacy and the reason why we're here? Like when did you talk about pedos can't be in politics? When did that come into play in my conversation? When did that come into play? I'm just asking. No shame, no power. Hey, power, much power to you. No shame to you. I'm just asking. When? When? When did you care? When did you care? That's right. You never did. Because you rather be a Schadenfreude. And if you don't know what that is a German word which means you rather care about the suffering of other people rather than not yourself. You don't think I lost friends and family before? I have. Like, what I did in my past was fucked up. Sure, I've lost friends, family. I've lost people. But I actually give a damn, and I'm actually willing to give a damn about changing for the better because I actually give a fuck about the people, not about the country. See, see, here's the difference. A predator poacher is someone who actually gives a fuck about the people, not the country. A predator catcher is someone who gives a fuck about the country, not the people. If I was to be president of the United States, planetary background checks, waiting periods, the immediate removal of the Second Amendment, because mind you, this country was never founded on, the economy. No, it was founded off white supremacy. Yeah, I own the libs. I own the libs. I own the libs. You're not gonna take my gun away from me, litard. That's what this country is founded off of. Guns, not people, not the homeless, not the blind, not the weak, not the people that have the fucking palsy. Guns. 96% of gun violence is done by what? White men. Which demographic was never to vote until 200 years from now? Black people. Which demographic voted for the adjudicated rapist in the White House? Predominantly white men. I voted for Kamala Harris, even though I'm white. I voted for Kamala Harris because I actually give a fuck about other people rather than myself. Because I'm not going to be the citizens of the Führer. Like, I voted for Kamala Harris. But, hey, cool. You do what you do. You rather be a Schadenfreude? That's good on you. You do you, okay? But I'm going to continue to talk about politics and talk about the reason why we are here as a country. Mind you, I got called out a bitch on a live stream before. I got called out the N-word on the live stream before. I got called out death threats on a live stream before. You think I don't care? You think I don't know that? I got death threats all the time. I got people saying they wanted to kill me, all because I talked about white supremacy on their live stream. Because they're scared of a minority doing their job of being vigilantes. I got called out the N-word. I got called out freaking, I don't know. I got death threats saying they want to kill me, that they want to hang me and all that other shit. All because I'm not part of MAGA. That's it. I don't even have a red hat in my room, and I don't support Trump. I never supported Trump. I voted for Kamala Harris because I actually give a fuck. I care. But you don't, right? You just rather demonize human people. You rather blame the brown people, blame the white people. You rather blame the brown people, the Muslims, the transgenders, the gay people, the lesbians. See, there's a difference between you and I. I love everyone, and I care about them. And I treat them as if either A, they're my music teacher, B, they're my coworkers, or C, they're my students. I treat them with value. Life has value. Life has value. I treat Alex Preddy as if he was my father that I never had. I treat Renee Good as if she was my personal doctor that could heal any sickness that I ever had. I treat Breonna Taylor, a black woman, as if she was my music teacher that I never had. Because why? Because I give a damn. I give a damn. But you don't like it. Because you think that, oh, I'm the same person that I was before. Like, Imagine you standing before God. You are going to say, but I own the libs. Like, God is going to ask you, where were you when Alex Preddy got shot? Oh, but God, I own the libs. I became a predator catcher just for you, Jesus. I did it because in the name of God, I had to be a predator catcher. What about the 14 million kids that go to school hungry? What about their lives? What about you posting them on your page in my name? What about that? But God, I'm a predator catcher. I did it in your name. I had to do. Sorry, you could go with the goats. That's what's going to happen on Judgment Day. Faith without works is dead. It is that simple. What's going to happen on Judgment Day? I'm going to be there with popcorn, and I'm going to see everybody from every nation, from every tongue, from every race, from every creed. And I am expected. Mind you, I don't have the authority to be expected of anything, but I am expected to hear one or two lies saying that, yes, I did talk about Alex Preddy on my YouTube page. Yes, I did help Renee Good when there was a protest going on. Yes, I cared about the 14 million kids that go to school hungry. God is going to literally show you them, and he's going to say, okay, when did you help these kids? You say you did. When? When in your life through birth till now have you helped these people? When? You can go right with the goats. You can go into the hand of favor and stay there for the rest of eternity. Faith without works is dead. What the Yuji Itadori cosplayer did is an example of faith because he cares not about the country, he cares about the people. What did the first part of the Constitution says? We, the people, not we, the country. We, the people. That means every homeless man that was visiting in America, every blind person that was visiting in America, every person without a leg, them, them. We, the people, not we, the country. Just because a Yuji Itadori cosplayer is doing what these vigilantes are proclaiming that they're doing, they are triggered because they don't want to do what the Yuji Itadori cosplayer does. They rather sit behind their cameras and watch it burn. So, again, I'm going to continue talking about Alex Preddy and Renee Good on my page because I actually give a fuck and I care about them and I'd rather say their names because their lives are more important. Their lives are important because they have value. Alex Preddy's life had value. Renee Good's life had value. Breonna Taylor, a black woman, had value. But you don't like it. When me, as a white person, cares about other people rather than myself because I actually give a fuck. So, hey, listen, to all y'all haters and to all y'all trolls, hey, much power to you. Much power to you. But just know, when you stand before God, all I'm going to say is go ahead and lie and say that you helped Alex Preddy. Go ahead and lie. I want to see the expressions on your face when God points you towards them and say, when did you ever talk about them on your page? When? And I am going to be laughing. I'm going to be laughing. I am going to be laughing at your response. Book of Psalms 37 to 17. For the Lord laughs at his wickedness, for he sees and knows his time will come. So with that being said, I really do hope, hey, much power to you. Hey, No shame to you. No shame to anybody that be trolling and be, all that other ish. But when you stand before God, just know you will be asked not what they know in your heart. You'll be asked not from your heart for what you've done for Christ. You'll be asked based on what you did for Christ. So, hey, much power to you, but I'm gonna continue giving a fuck about other people rather than myself, and I'm gonna continue talking about them, about Renee Good, about Alex Preddy on my page because I give a fuck. Than rather sit behind. I rather go outside and continue beating up child molesters than rather sit behind a camera and talk about shit all day because that's what a real vigilante would have done. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna continue beating up child molesters. Take care. Have a good day.